My name is Jimmy Purdy, shop owner, master tech, transmission builder, and the host of the Gearbox Podcast. Here I talk with new and seasoned shop owners, as well as industry professionals about day-to-day operations within their own shops and all the failures and successes that come along the way. From what grinds your gears to having to shift gears in the automotive industry, this is the Gearbox Podcast. You are...
I am Chris Johnson. I'm a shop foreman technician at Cobra Mazda in Coburg, Ontario, Canada.
Oh, that's cool. That's a different animal up there.
That it is, yeah. Having to deal with all the rust and snow and slush. And
I guess not. I mean, do you have the being able to see the difference between the two? Have you been like, because sometimes it's like I'm in California, right? So I don't know anything about the Rust Belt. I've never had to deal with it. I've just seen horror stories, but I've never personally had it. So I can't like from experience be like, oh, it's so much better here. It's just, it is what it is. So I assume
I
like
guess,
when you're up there, it's like that's just your life. So you're like, I don't know, this is just what we deal with. This is just what we do.
yeah, it kind of is. You just get used to it. And as I think on one of the other podcasts, Mario Rojas was talking about, embracing the suck with working on BMWs. That's what we do with the rust. You just embrace the suck and make it work.
Embrace the suck. Yeah, exactly. You don't have much of a choice, huh?
No, rust is a way of life.
So
Makes you
you
lots of
own a
money up
shop up
here.
there?
I am the shop foreman lead technician of a small Mazda dealership here in Coburg.
Oh, that's cool. How is life like that? How is that going?
It's going a lot better.
Okay.
You know, you're coming up as a technician, you get the shit jobs and, as the jadedness and whatnot. But once I make the industry work a lot better and working a lot better with my managers and with other technicians and learning how to work with them better and learning more about the business itself, especially through like the Change the Industry podcast and, with listening to everyone else's stories, it's becoming a whole lot better. Like life is better because making it better. But
Yeah, one conversation at a time, I guess is what they say. Huh?
yeah,
How's that transition going from technician to manager? Is that fairly new for you?
that is fairly new. Just been more, been slowly working at it for the last little couple of years, more mentoring the other, let's say, other technicians. There's such a small dealership. There's myself and one other technician, and we have two apprentices, and that's our hoists taken up right there.
Okay. Yeah, it's a pretty small dealership, huh?
Yeah. But having to oversee the work of the other guys and make sure they're learning, they're doing their jobs correctly. We're not getting comebacks, and so that's a steep learning curve, but it's like being a parent.
Yeah, I've come to I've come to that same exact conclusion at some points. I feel like that you got to think like that a little bit, but then also realize that they're not your kids. So it's like,
You can let them go a little further on that leash until they say, now, should you really be doing this? Yes.
and an extent, I know a lot of
Yeah.
guys are probably like, "What are you talking about? I'm not like that." No, we're not like talking about every technician out there,
No.
but how's the turnover rate at the dealership? I mean, I feel like obviously it's a different market. It's got to be a different marketplace than down here in the States, but they seem to be leaving the dealership in groves. I get a lot of interviews from guys from the dealership. With that being said, I feel like a lot of them use that just as like a bargaining tactic. Like, hey, I got this job with this guy down the street, and then the manager or whatever goes in. Hey, okay, I'll give you your $5 an hour raise or whatever you're asking for. I see a lot of that in our area. I don't know if they're just trying to get more money and they're asking for raises and they don't know another way other than locking a job down somewhere else and using that as threatening, or if they're just really sick of the environment and a little bit more money kind of smooths that out.
Yeah, again, we've kind of seen that. Our shop hasn't been that bad because like we've had one apprentice. He's been there for I want to say like almost 3 years. He was a co-op student, so from the high schools they can send students out to get work experience. So we've had him since he was in high school, then been bringing him up, and we got our other technician who's just recently been licensed as a technician. Um, he's been there for going on 2 years, like a year and a half, 2 years, and he's growing well with us. we've had, you know, the average turnover, I'd say, before that, but we're trying to, weed
Sounds like
out.
you're a pretty small dealership though, so you probably don't have too much to
Yeah, we don't notice it
don't
as
get lost
much.
in the minutia. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a,
I always see ads for other dealerships in town that are advertising all the time, but they're the ones that are always advertising.
yeah. You always
As if
know the shops that are always advertising. You always can tell.
for a reason, they got to
That's
revolve the
for
door for a
usually
reason.
usually for a reason. Yeah. Are you part of the process when it comes to like the pay rates and like looking at raises or training? Do you have a lot to say when it comes to that kind of stuff as far as like the manager role?
For as far as um, the pay raise and whatnot, no. Like I say, I'm still like I'm a working shop foreman, so
Okay,
being that we're incredibly tiny in the hiring process and the training, I've just started getting into that, and I've going to start implementing a training plan for us or for our techs
that's awesome.
besides what our manufacturer offers, because the courses aren't as prevalent as we'd like them to be. So I'm going to start working with our apprentices and technicians, and start getting them learn more like what are the weak areas, what do they want to learn, what are they interested in. Let's get a program going for that, just so they can work a lot more better and efficiently without me having to mind them all the time.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about programs. Well, is there a certain program that you working on right now?
Well, I think I'd like to get them all signed up for Scanner Danner initially, because I think
Nice.
that would help everyone for getting our fundamentals. I mean, I'm still a premium member. I think for the last couple of years, I just keep going back, rewatching some of the stuff, and refreshing stuff, and it's just because it was
It's
taught so
amazing how
well.
many free resources are out there that no one really takes advantage of too when it comes to technicians and I mean even I mean every aspect of it, right? I mean,
Mhm.
I don't know. Do you feel like I feel like there's like a lot that's out there where it's they kind of point you in the wrong direction. And unless you get on the right train to begin with, you feel like you kind of got, the short I don't know. You get taught something then you realize everybody's against that certain um I don't know, that certain aspect of that certain mind process, right?
Yeah,
But then it's like, but you're so involved in it because you've watched so many videos and so much education about. You're like, oh, but I really liked what that guy was.
yeah,
So you feel like you're kind of doing the wrong thing, and so it's just hard to navigate because there's so much out there now. But when you find the right stuff, it's like, man, if it's free, like just watch it. What's the harm?
yeah. That's yeah. You can always certainly go down a rabbit hole of, as you say, just finding this, and it's like, oh yeah, it's good, it's great. It's like, ah, yeah, this guy's a kook. But
You can tell right away, like that's a
yeah,
Scotty Kilmer. I'm not gonna watch that one
yeah,
anymore.
nope,
I don't need someone to tell me that
yeah,
one's bad. I've been
yeah.
watching a lot of masterclass lately. I got that subscription in the beginning of the year, and so
Oh yeah,
I've been non-automotive training for my own personal growth. I think is really important too when it comes to like teaching people or like leading
yeah.
people.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a really good idea. I like that.
I don't know, just you can't learn everything from like the same couple of people. You got to keep
Oh,
find a new avenues of learning, and it's like just listening to some completely different aspect. I mean, I feel like the scientist stuff is always something I'm interested in. I think as like technicians we're all kind of like scientists in a way, you know what I
mhm.
mean?
Oh
We like
yeah,
our process and our hypothesis, and it's like, and so listening to like Neil deGrasse Tyson is like he's just like that guy's so smart on so many levels. And it's like, I don't know, I was just listening to him, but he was talking about how he takes the scientific method and he's always trying to find a theory and then a hypothesis. And I'm like, man, you kind of sound like a a day at the shop, you know?
yeah,
We take
yeah,
something, we got to theorize and we got to think about what it is and then sell a hypothesis on a quote. And then we're like repairing this. And then we got to actually do the mechanical part of it. But I think to be like an A-level technician, you have to have that scientific process, right? Like it's not just hanging
yeah,
parts. You're like going through a diagnostic process in your mind. You just look at cars, you look at everything differently once you get to that level.
yeah. Why am I hanging this part? Why am I? Why is this doing this? Why is that? That's why I love the why. Why?
Yep. I think that's part of that
Yeah,
whole process that he was talking about was like taking that why. And it's like you always have to be curious. But it's frustrating too, though. You know, you get like something comes in, it's like a 2019 or 2020 RAM with like a communication code, and you're like, why? It's all about the tone of voice, you know. Well, you
Oh
could
yeah,
be like, oh, why? Right? All curious and inquisitive, and it's like, or the
yeah.
why? Why am I doing this on this thing? I don't know anything about this damn. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Pulling your damn hair out. Like, I don't want to figure this out. But you have to keep that curiosity to be a good technician.
Oh yeah.
And I'm
You
sure
start yelling at.
you've probably been wrenching for a while. As far as the diagnostic side of it, was that something you kind of moved into as you moved into the manager position, or was it something that you just wanted to be a manager, or what was your why when it comes to that?
Well, with the diagnostic stuff, I think that started um, like a few years ago. Like when you realize, I'm hanging parts. That's you know feeding my family, feeding my belly, but you know, then you're just craving the paycheck, craving the hours on that, rather than feeding your mind and whatnot, and have an actual like a oh, satisfaction with the job. Whereas you can dig through a problem that no one else could find, then boop, there it is, and you can at least be happy at the end of the day. Like solving puzzles, like or putting puzzles together. Just find out what the picture is.
I turned my mic. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I
Oh,
know what you mean. Yeah, being able to. I mean, that's the good and bad part. It's like the frustrating part when you don't get it right.
yeah,
But
or
then
you're
it's like
buried
that,
on it.
yeah, that the elation of like, yeah, figuring out. I don't know. That's such a hard thing. It's like you want to be you want to be the guy that everyone brings their problems to, but you don't want to be the guy that everyone brings their problems to.
Yep.
Why am I like this? Why am I wired this way?
Yeah. But I think with my finding that stuff out, I've been liking to impart that on our other technicians and whatnot, or and other people. So that's why I've been trying to move up to the more managing role, especially as I get older. 'Cause I'm just rounded 40, so I want to be able to ease into the end goal or the next phase of life,
Yeah,
rather than having to pound out hours constantly.
yeah, working with your mind instead of your hands a little more.
Yeah.
Then how's the satisfaction being like kind of cultivating a culture and like managing people?
That is actually really nice, especially with our one young and up and coming apprentice. He's like a mini me. He's I can teach him some stuff, and he's got it, and I can just set him on autopilot and just looking across the shop, I know exactly what phase of the job he's at, how he can do stuff, and he can just ground and pound stuff, or he can knows what questions to come and ask me when he needs to.
It's a rewarding. For me, it was a really rewarding aspect of like moving into like the management or like the ownership position, and it's something I didn't really think about.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just like fixing instead of fixing cars, you're kind of like fixing people in a way, but it's just as frustrating.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but you can't. There's only so many times you can threaten with a rolled up newspaper.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. You find different ways of disciplining, I guess, in
yeah.
air quotes disciplining, but the old ways. I'm sure the way you were raised in a shop is a lot different than the way the culture needs to be now. Um, you know, I mean, so as far as like being brought up in the shop was, what was your kind of like your beginnings as far as like getting into it?
But my beginnings, like my wrenching became out of necessity. I eventually wanted to work on cars because I wanted to go racing and didn't have money to pay anyone else to do it, and I wanted to know how to bring it on, so I had to fix my own cars and go racing. Then I turned that into a co-op just at the end of high school. Then I turned that into an apprenticeship, then turned that into a career where I was actually working at a race shop for about 7 or 8 years until I had to get a real job. But,
Yeah, so you went from like the performance just into like the actual bread and butter, trying to forward the next step, right?
yeah, 'cause I was
Yeah.
yeah, I was they co-op an apprentice at a dealership here in Coburg, actually literally right next to where I work right now. So that was almost 20 years ago. That was working on race shop. We were building up here to the Trans Am series. We build their two frame chassis, NASCAR engine stuff, fun stuff. Lots of Corvettes and lots of traveling down the states for fun races, which is it was a lot of fun, especially as you're younger. But it's eventually it takes up all of your time.
Yeah. Yeah, and you don't get any of the profit out of it either.
Yeah, not that
I've
there's a
noticed that with
whole
like
lot.
the classics and the performances, like a lot of guys new in the industry, that's what they want to do until they realize there's no paycheck on the other side, which still blows me away. Like
Mhm.
it's just strange when you talk about the classics and whether it's a classic car or performance car. This is like expendable money. How is there no money for these skilled technicians to build these cars when it's not needed? Doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah,
You know. And then you're dealing with the day to day, the soccer mom, the construction guy. Just like, and you're trying your best to keep the bills down as much as they can because they need it, and it's like just seems backwards to me.
yeah, it's definitely a different world. So, especially the clientele we were dealing with at the race shop, it's they were operating on different levels. Like we had a lot of commercial real estate developers. Like they've got money to spend on this stuff. They're blowing 25. You know, if they're doing a pro weekend, they're spending probably 45, almost $50,000 for a weekend of racing.
Right.
And they may win, they may finish at the end, or they may wad it up.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely not. It's definitely not, it's definitely not for a paycheck. I mean, they
Yeah.
might make a little bit of money, but at the end of the day, it's like it's not what they use to go to work. Yeah, it just blows me away, that kind of stuff, because there is a lot of passion for that to get in the race circuit. A lot of people start. That's where they start, is like getting on a race team or and yeah, it just it's always something that I wonder about. I mean, I'd like to be able to just do performance stuff too, but anybody you talk to, once they get into the business of like restoring cars or doing LS swaps or doing all the fun stuff, building Baja trucks, it's like there's just no money at the end of it. And it's like that's so strange.
Oh yeah, that kind of it does bog the mind.
Yeah, a little
Wrenching
bit. I mean,
on
um,
those cars, you'd have to hopefully get into a bigger pro team than you know go to Europe. Then you can kind of make some money and
yeah,
actually eke out a living. But then the team might shut down at the end of the year or the next year when the rules change. Then you have to go find another job at a different series and keep traveling.
yeah. So with the dealership, how's Mazda treat you? How do you like the outfit of actually Mazda? Because our Mazda dealership, it's not very good around here.
Oh no,
We don't have one.
oh
And so it's interesting out of the states with the different dealerships and how they operate. I mean, there's pretty strict rules with the ones in the states, at least, about having a certain number of staff in the service department to even be qualified as a dealership. And it's the structure of it's just totally different, I would imagine. I don't know the rules up in Canada, but just curious how Mazda is as far as parts in their cars, and something that you see, any issues that are common for you as far as the cars themselves or like the actual work atmosphere.
um, I know in our like at least in our little neck of the woods, don't see too many big problems. Like especially from Mazda head office end, they usually leave us alone.
That's nice.
Um, yeah, we don't get in trouble. Keep to ourselves. We do just what we need to do, and actually, we usually do perform a lot better than some of the other dealers in our group area, or actually
Yeah.
in our province. So they tend to like us fairly well. But as far as corporate with other um, dealer issues, that I don't know too much about or haven't heard anything about. So you just think no news is good news in that respect.
Well, that's always good. A hands-off approach is always nice when it comes to upper management. To an extent, I mean, does that kind of feel like keeps you out in left field a little bit? Like you'd prefer a little bit more. There's always that fine line of like micromanaging and then like the lack of management altogether.
No, I think we managed ourselves pretty well. Like from from our dealership perspective, our owner, we meet their targets, and our general manager, he understands what our service department can do or is doing, and he understands the struggles that we have, and he works well with us. We do a lot or do well for him as well. I think we've got a very good team there. I mean, might sound like saying, "Yay, Cobra Mazda, we're the best." But I mean, we got problems, but we work through them, and everyone's got problems.
Yeah,
Everyone,
yeah. The day to day problems is never gonna get away from.
oh hell
I
no.
mean, like the hiring. Like how's the tech shortage in quotes? How's that tech shortage up in that area? Is that something you guys are struggling with too?
Uh, Not so much. I think in our town, there's only, as I think we said earlier, there's only the same dealers that seem to be hiring because they have a revolving door built onto the place, but they're hiring because no one wants to work there. And people work there and figure out, oh crap, should have done that.
When's the
But
last time you had an opening at your place?
we just filled an apprenticeship program or filled a position today. Actually, I think he just started today as an apprentice. But because the other apprentice we had, he's gone on to do different things. Just automotive wasn't for him, and wants to pick a different career path.
Hmm.
But besides that, we hadn't hired anyone in about a year,
Okay.
at least in the service area.
But you don't have a problem finding someone, huh? And I guess you got a good apprentice program. That's one thing we need to get more of in like the independent shops is a better apprentice program for indie shops. The dealers are doing pretty well when it comes to like bringing in someone with no experience, but it's so difficult. I mean, it's for me being a specialty shop, I just can't. It's just hard. I mean, I hate saying I can't, right?
Yeah,
You always can, but it's like I don't know. Like what do I do? Like I can't put someone on a transmission job or some of these big long term jobs. But I'd love the idea of like these like Napa just came out with an apprentice program as well, and it's something I want to be hooked up with. But I mean, how does that work for you? Is that beneficial? Is it something that takes a lot of your time?
um, I think it's certainly beneficial up here. Um, to be a technician, you have to be licensed, so you have to have gone to a trade school and gotten your hours in or your equivalent time in at school. Then you have to write your license, and um, then you can get your ticket or your actual license. But you have to be a registered apprentice in order to do that. So you have to be working at a shop, registered as an apprentice. Then that's how you go to school, and that's how you get your license. So it's government mandated that you be go through an apprenticeship program. But sometimes, as we all know, you be an apprentice, but you're stuck in the lubrac for 3 years. You're not going to learn shit. Then you
Government mandates. I don't know. I mean, I
it
think
yeah.
that's a hot topic too for everything, right?
Oh yeah. And I think the mandated is you know maybe a
I don't know.
poor choice of words, but at least it's government backed. So at least your schooling that you have to go to is, at least when I did it, you go you need to do like day release, so 1 day a week, so you can still go to work. Then you go to school 1 day, but usually by the following week you've forgotten literally everything you did the last week. Or you could go for, I think it's like two and a bit months. And when I went, my entire schooling for, so the 6 8 months or whatever of school over 3 years cost me $1,200 because the rest of it was subsidized by the government.
Oh, that's a
So
good
at
thing, I
least
guess.
so that's at least there's some support that way. But yeah, making
I've
it um, a government rule is, as you say, iffy, but it's the same for literally every trade up here, and like nurses and whatnot too.
It's not a bad concept. I don't know if I don't know if I like the government taking care of it in a sense of like anytime it becomes that it just it's always for the right reasons, but then the wrong people get their hands on it.
Yeah. Usually because the people that want to be in charge are the wrong people to have in charge, and
Yeah.
usually make a mockery of it.
Yeah, I mean They got to once someone gets becomes a job and it becomes a financial income for somebody, they have to figure out a way to continue that. Like I got to find a way to like keep my job, so I have to create fines or like funnel money or whatever they end up doing. But
Yeah,
I like the idea of having. I mean, it's anybody could be a mechanic down here, technician. You can open a shop. You can put a sticker on the side of your van, go buy some tools at Harbor Freight, and all of a sudden you're a mobile technician. And that gets lumped into the same mobile technicians that you know, like Bernie Thompson. You watch Bernie Thompson ATS.
yeah,
So it's like he's got a mobile, he's a mobile technician, right? And it's like, so that mobile technician is the same as the guy that just bought this van, put a sticker on the side, and bought some Harbor Freight tools, and now he's out in the wilderness.
yeah. Which
Those
is
that's the same. Like that's not the same, but there's no classification, right? And it's like, so I like the idea of like, well, if we had some sort of certification program, that'd be great. You got the AC program, that's fantastic. But it's such a pull. Everyone hates it or everyone likes it. I don't know. Like it's
yeah. I find the fact that you can just walk in anywhere and be a mechanic with no formal training of any sort is terrifying, and call yourself a mechanic, or as I say, just grab some tools and say, "Yeah, I'm gonna do this today. I'm gonna be a mechanic today."
yeah,
I find that utterly fucking terrifying, to be honest.
yeah. And
It
and it
should,
and it goes over to the other trades too. But like the other trades don't go down the road at 100 miles an hour.
yeah,
You know, like
into oncoming traffic with you and your kids going home from soccer practice.
right. Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you don't see the guest house going down the highway. That's all. And not and
No.
nothing to say bad about any of the other trades. I like
Oh yeah,
to,
yeah,
I like to have myself my morning ritual in a nice air conditioned working toilet, right? So it's like I'm totally about the other trades. Like you guys do a great job. Like nothing, but yeah, like it's terrifying to think that someone can just go in there, put some ball joints in a wheel bearing on a 1990 Chevy with absolutely no certification behind them at all, or even if they're ASC certified. Like what does that really mean? Did someone take the test for them? Like, I don't know. I appreciate the AC certification system just because it's that first layer of defense. You know what I mean? Like, it's at least
yeah. I
it's
think
something.
it's like I almost hesitate to say like a form of accountability, but it is. It kind of is. You need some sort of liability or accountability on the person actually doing the work, which
Well, it's at
it's
least
not.
at least someone cares enough to actually sit down for an hour and try to put the knowledge of what they're about to attempt on a piece of paper. Does it mean it's like it's the end all be all because you passed the A2, you're an automatic transmission expert? No. Like, like I get that point, and I think that's like the hard pull between the two when it comes to education. Is like, oh, so just because you're ASC certified means you know everything. It's like, no, it just means like someone cares enough to try. And I think that's big
Yeah,
because it's like at least it's like I actually am gonna take my time and like try to do this right and not just like knock this out and make my $200 and then go home and not worry about where that car's going after this.
yeah,
Like, I don't know, and I don't know what else you could do. Like, what would be the next process other than having the government step in and make these mandates like you guys have up there? I mean, what would be the biggest like? I haven't dealt with that, right? Like, I don't know what exactly they reach into as far as how deep into your pockets they pull when it comes to actually being certified. But when you hire a tech, what's that process look like? What do you have to actually verify?
as long as we get their license number, you can look up any technician or any licensed trade person. You can just go on. There is a website available. Punch in their name. You can see if they're certified, if it's um, or if they've paid their license fees. At least make sure they're current.
I see. So it's
So
it's it's more or less about the money, keeping it certified. Is it? I mean, do they
yeah,
have to like recertify with a test or some sort of? I mean, every year what's the update on it?
no, there isn't anything on it. As long as you keep paying your fee, which is with tax 67.80 every year.
Mm,
So it's peanuts really,
yeah,
and it's pretty much just a cash grab. If they had some sort of um, you know updates or refreshers like every say every year, every other year, every 3 years or whatever, you had to write a new test or something like that to at least say you're somewhat competent, then maybe that's something. But that's
Yeah, or even like job experience, right? Like, hey, I've been at this shop, and then the shop's been accredited, but like you said, it's just that's more of a money grab. Then that's one more thing the shop needs to take. Like
yeah,
I don't know what the answer would be, but I mean, some sort of certification program would be nice. I mean, even just what you're talking about, it's more or less like a driver's license. It sounds like where it's like maybe if you just test it every 10 years, it'd be that
it,
would
it,
be a step
it,
in the right direction.
it pretty well it pretty well kind of is. And I was just as we were just talking here, I was just thinking like, when I got my racing license, there's I've been observed as it's kind of like an apprenticeship program. So you can apply for your license. You have to go to a school, do some driving, so they can show that you're not going to crash, you're not a weapon out there. Then you can get your license, and you have to be observed so many times in an actual race. Then you can get your next license up. So which is kind of the same process. But again, when you start out, there's you know nothing saying that you know how to fucking drive in the first place. But you can at least go through the motions. You're at least putting forth the effort to take all those steps to show, hey, I'm interested in this, and you're striving to do better as you would go along.
Yeah,
But
striving
yeah,
to do better. That's what's
yeah,
important.
yeah. There's no really nothing for that except on the individual level, or if the shop makes it a, a mandate there that they attend training or do
Yeah, the
some,
shop mandates.
which is kind of what I'm at least trying with ours with working on towards a slight training program at least if they show interest in it. But again, that's always down to your individual technicians or apprentices to show the interest, show the drive to want to do better.
Yeah, I mean that's hard because you put all that in place, and then the consumer just sees a brake job as a brake job as a brake job,
Yeah,
and it's like, so how do you translate that to the client? How do you say, hey, look, we're in training, we do these things, we have this accreditation, which means all our techs have this certain license, and it would be a great marketing tactic, right? If you could actually use that to pull away and differentiate yourself from the other shops, the other dealerships, or what have you. But it's just a hard thing to translate because most people think, well, if an oil change is an oil change, then a brake job is a brake job, and like it's like the
yeah, it's
hardest
all.
thing to try to like communicate.
Oh yeah, it's all always the stuff they don't see anyways. Here's hand someone a bill for $3,000. Here's $3,000 for a bunch of parts you'll never ever look at, and they're not going to notice much difference besides the fact the car drives a little better. But they might, as they might not even notice the difference between us, having it done at our dealership versus Joe Blow's garage down the street. If it's something they're not,
Yeah, as long as it starts
for
and
them.
drives and goes down the
Yeah,
road and the stupid light is off, that's
yeah,
that's all they're worried
yeah,
about. And it's like if they can get that process taken care of for, $2,200 or $3,000, it's like the consumerism steps in and it's like, oh, well, if I can save $800, I can save $800. It's like, well, it took an extra week and you had to go back 3 times or whatever. And it's like, it's just so hard to communicate that because for the most part, you know, not for the most part, but more times than not, cars are pretty easy, and the mechanical stuff lasts a long time, and it still blows me away. Like, you ever notice like you miss one small thing, and it just like automatic transmission is a good point. Like you miss one tiny little check ball, and the whole thing burns up, right? Meanwhile, you get these guys coming in and like they put a whole timing belt on or whatever, and it's like missing half the bolts, and like the motor mount's held on with one bolt, and then it's like you drove it in like this, and like how did somebody else get away with that? And I miss one freaking little thing, and the whole thing just like goes up in a ball of flames. Like I
oh,
I just it's crazy.
it always seems like, or you leave like one smudge somewhere, and you're the worst person in the world. You
Yeah,
just ruined their entire day.
that's a good
Whereas
point
someone
too.
else, or someone drove in with three wheels falling off the car, or
Yeah.
you got almost got three Bluetooth wheels, and Someone just put the tires on, and oh, could you guys just fix that for me? Oh, that's okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
you don't
you
want to
left
go
this.
back to the shop you just came from?
Yeah,
Oh no, I don't want to bother them. They were really nice to me.
yeah.
Really?
But you guys put a smudge on my car, so you're the devil now.
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
know. I feel like the more you start charging, the more that kind of stuff starts happening, which I can appreciate. You know, like the standards go up, so like you got to raise your standard too. But it's just it's it's a good point to bring up because it's true. Like, really, like how do I? Well, how does it seem like everybody else gets away with this stuff, and I can't get away with one little thing? That just blows me away. You know.
oh
And it
yeah.
comes to like diagnostics too. That's the biggest thing is the freaking diagnostics because that is like the biggest divide when it comes to like payment or like being compensated, right? Nobody wants to diagnose cars or assess them properly because it doesn't pay. And that's another one where a lot of the time you can just look up the code, you can throw the first three parts that come up on the hotline, and usually you're going to encapsulate what the problem is, and the car's fixed. And that's that whoever made that recommendation is now God because they fixed it the first time. But come to find out, it was like they put two parts on there that the car didn't even need. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, for the consumer, it's like, hey, they said what it was going to be. It actually fixed what it was going to be, and the price didn't change from what they told me. Meanwhile, you go through the diagnostic process, and you sell them $400 of advanced assessment, you know, and then you tell them what the problem is, and then it's another bill for another $600. At the end of the day, the bill was $1,000 at both the places, but the shop A gave you that $1,000 quote right off the bat and was able to just throw all these parts in it. I mean, yeah, maybe his GP net sales was only $200 because the rest of it went to parts, and the other guy actually made more money. But that's a harder sale to have, you know. Most people don't want to hear, "What do you mean it's going to be $400 and you're not, and that's not even going to fix it?" Like, it's like it's so hard. Like, so what's the right
Yeah.
thing to do from a technician standpoint? Of course, we want to be able to get in there and encapsulate exactly what it is. But from the business standpoint, it's like I just want to tell the consumer what the price is one time, fix the car and get paid and like limit, you know, take that transaction and make it as painless as possible. But it's so hard to do that.
Oh yeah, it is. You're yeah. You always seem like you're the asshole for wanting to, spend the actual time on it. Like we had a car in a few weeks ago. I think the person was saying, "Oh, that sounds like a lot for diagnosis." It was like 3 hours for chasing some parts, and which one problem they created, and another one was a bad repair someone else had made before they bought it. And you know, I had to take my time to get that. And they're like, "Oh, that sounds like a lot for repair." Well, we didn't break it. You half of it you broke, there, Mrs. Customer, and the shithole that you bought the car from broke the other half. So now you've got a working car.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's fixed, but it's just tough working through that process of like,
Oh yeah,
you know, and I have a lot of other shops that I know of that do that shotgun approach, and you know you can throw stones at them, and it's like that's not the right way to do it, but they're selling more jobs and they're turning over more cars, even though they're just throwing a bunch of parts at it, you know. And every once in a while, one will hang up. Well, they throw three or four parts at it, and then they don't charge them anything, and then they send them somewhere else to actually get it fixed. And it just like it's just so frustrating because like the amount of work and time that we spend to like meticulously go through these cars and make sure that we're finding the only problem that there is and like technically go through it and say this is the only component you're going to need to replace, and somehow we look like the bad people because it's like, yeah, it's a process. Oh well, he said it's he could fix it. Well, what did he say it was going to be? And it's like, oh, they were going to replace all the oxygen sensors for a fuel trim code. What are you talking about? It's not going to fix it, and it's going to be like $1,000. You know,
yeah,
like what? I don't know. It's so hard. It's the education of the consumers. It's so hard because there's so much you just can't educate. Everyone comes in with their car one time a year, two times a year at the most. You know, it's like how are you going to be able to translate that much education to someone on a 1 hour transaction once a year? It's
yeah.
just all right. When it comes to like customer delegation, is that something you take head on now as well, moving from the technician more to the manager's position?
How do you mean?
Do you
Or
do a lot of like the service advising?
no, no, like we still have, say our service advisor up front, but I do deal with a lot with, say, advising our advisors as to some of our processes and what needs to be done.
So just when there's a fire or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, I got pretty good. Got to be a pretty good fireman. Then here, you get this,
You
especially
don't,
during tire season, which is something
yeah,
you've never experienced, the absolute gong show that is a tire season.
that's true. I actually just learned about that last year. I didn't even, as weird as it is, I didn't even think about it. I mean, I'm in California, so of course I didn't think
Yep.
about it. But it's like it was not until like last year that I realized it was like that's a thing. You like store people's tires and then put them back on. Like that's pretty genius, actually. Like that makes a lot of sense, but I didn't even think about it.
Oh, it's an absolute shit shows, but especially if you don't bother, limiting your appointments and vetting some stuff out. But they can actually get it done. But that's a that's an entirely different world. You probably don't want to experience that.
I don't even know what I
Uh,
could compare it to. I mean, I don't know. Would it be like an
yeah.
express lube or something like that?
Only
You're
have to
just
get 13 cars backed up out the door. Everyone wants their tires on 2 days ago because they told them a week and a half ago it was going to snow.
oh, I can see. That's kind of like our smog program.
Oh yeah, usually within like what, 3 days of the tickets or the tags being expired. Oh, I got to get it done right now.
Oh,
They
it's
got
usually already expired. Yeah.
oh yeah, they got 18 codes that they got to get
Yeah.
cleared out.
And it passed last time. So why doesn't it pass now? The other guy I used to take it to, he passed it every time. There was no problem. Okay. Maybe go back there. I don't know. I stopped doing it. I got into the industry. That was my very first like professional, I guess, automotive job was as a smog technician. And I'll never go back. I don't want anything to do
Oh.
with that. So I guess I roughly translate it probably over to your guys' tire season because, yeah, you'd be backed up 30, 40 a day in smogs. People coming in. I'm already booked for the day. Oh, you're just standing here. You can't do mine? Like, no, I'm not just standing here. You walked into the shop, so I had to stop what I was doing to talk to you.
I'm
You
sitting
can't
here
just do
because
it.
you
You,
interrupted me.
you can't just do it real quick. No, I have all these people sitting here I got to do real quick, Like, oh my God.
And see the
Yeah.
parking lot? They're all ahead of you.
Yeah, and then every time it would fail, it's like they want you. Well, what do I need to do? I don't know. Like I don't know. I need you to just pay so I can do the next one because there's another guy waiting
Yeah,
behind you. What do I need to replace? I don't know. I don't like. What are you talking about? I don't know what you need to replace. It failed. Go fix it. Being test
yes,
only, that was a big thing. We didn't do any repairs. It was just like come in, test it, and then ship them out. And it was yeah, I'm surprised I stuck in the industry after that. I mean, I think that was like the gauntlet getting thrown at me for sure.
oh yeah. Like tires used up here is probably where you make like a good 60 to probably 60-70% of your, or can make 60 to 70% of your money if you're at a bit of a like a if you're at a bigger shop. That's where you're making a lot of your money because a lot of your tires are coming off. Everyone needs your brakes or brake services by then. You're getting a better thorough inspection on it. You can rack up or stack up the hours quite a lot more on your ROs. But
Nice. I could see that working out pretty good. Then you store the tires too, then right?
yeah,
Or do
yeah.
you like give them back?
Some people take it back if they've got room for them. A lot of people, if they're living in apartments or they're older, or, just can't be bothered, then they store them with us. Like we've got 7 or 9 bins, something like that, full of tires. One bin is just full of used car department tires. Actually, a bin and a half is full of used car department tires, and the rest are all full of customer tires. The last big dealership I worked at up in Peterborough, they had 12 bins at that time. I think they've added another 4 or 5 since then.
It's a crazy concept.
When you're charging 45 or 50, $60 a season, then you can at least recoup your money and at least recoup the money it's taking you to store those as well,
Right.
and you keep them on sites. The customer just has to show up, tires on, so it does make life easier, especially as a tech. You don't have to haul them out of the car, unbag them, blast them off, then rebag the next ones and get them put away. You just have to stuff them outside in our co-ops or apprentices store them at the end of the day and pull
Yeah, I
the new
always wonder
ones
what
out.
the tire bags were too. I got one of them racks that has like the floor mats and all that. So like the seat covers and like the plastic wrap and the floor mats, and then the bottom it says tire bag. I'm like, tire bags? That's weird. The hell you need tire bags for? We just I don't do tires. So
Yeah.
I was like, I want, and I started asking some of the guys, do you guys like have to put tires in bags before you throw them away? Like, no, they just come pick them up. We just recycle them. Like, the hell you need bags for? How it makes sense. That's what you get when you get 75 degrees every day through all 4 seasons. I don't know. I don't like you learn something new every day, you
Yeah,
know? It's just amazing.
yeah,
Yeah, I
we
mean,
can't
I
even
guess
do.
that's a good way of retaining clients too. Is like they can't really go anywhere else because you got their tires, so that
Yeah,
helps a
they
little
can
bit
take
too.
them somewhere else and store them, but like everyone seems to offer tire storage around here because it's, as I say, it kind of keeps a captive audience.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for your retention, like these cars are coming in, like you just know. That's kind of cool. I mean, I like the idea of that too because it's like a guaranteed. Through these months, you got these clients that are coming in because the tires are sitting there on the rack, unless they wreck the car or something. I mean, how many times does that happen where like they don't have the car anymore or something happens to it and you just sell the tires to somebody else? I guess.
Not that often, but yeah, would usually they wind up trading the car in, so then those tires don't fit their new car, or they want new tires with their new car, so that we wind up with the old tires and fills up our used car department bin.
I
Then
see.
sometimes those will get sold along with another vehicle if they're still good condition.
Well, that sounds like a pain in the ass. That doesn't sound like great. Hey, you can have those. Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
That's fantastic. Or you're like waiting, and there's been like 3 years, and these tires have still been sitting on the rack, and you're like, I haven't seen this guy in a little while. What happened to him?
Better do a health check on them.
Yeah, not a bad idea. You never know what's gonna happen. Yeah, crazy stuff from different. I mean, a different world up there. I can only imagine like the salt and the rust. I mean, anything in the Rust Belt, but moving up into Canada too. It's like, yeah, it's. I guess they say I'm blessed. Like I'm just happy.
Yeah.
I gotta do good, And for the things I worry about or I whine about, I'm like, every once in a while, an exhaust manifold, it doesn't want to disconnect from me, so I gotta, heat it up a little bit. But then it's fine.
Yeah. You probably do that with the propane torch.
Yeah, exactly. Like it
After
doesn't take
shutdown here.
much. It doesn't take much. I don't need much, and then they crack them loose. You probably get
Yeah.
every one of them. You got to cut them out, drill them out, or whatever.
Yeah, here it's usually you're torching them out, or I think even at our dealership, we're hard pressed to do an alignment on a 21 or older without breaking the torches out to heat up
Oh,
the jam nuts up front.
oh my god. Is that like a multiplier you put on your labor as well, or is it just like across the board? Do you like inspect it first or do you just have like a set year and like anything older than that, we're guaranteed we got to do like a 1.5 or a 2.5 multiplier on it on the labor times?
No, that's usually kind of a set price on that. Should be probably going over that and see if we can adjust that. But um, most of that stuff, you're still half an hour for an alignment. That's all it takes, even if you're breaking out the torches. They live right next to the alignment rack. So
Oh, I see. Oh yeah, once you get
just
it set up and you're used to it, but yeah, because we always take like the inspection time to really go over and like, is this thing lifted? Are we going to run into problems? Is it rusted? I mean, I've had a few come from out of state, a few Jeeps that needed a frame,
oh yeah,
and you're like, needs a what? It's like it needs a frame. What happened to this thing? That's new to me. So it's like
yeah,
it's always like interesting. Like what the hell? But you got to look at it and say, okay, yeah, we need a little more time. The thing's got 44-inch tires. Like, yeah, we got to add a little multiplier on the labor guide here because that's not going to be a standard hour and a
oh
half
yeah,
brake job,
yeah,
So it's just interesting how from different areas of the world, how people look at it and say, hey, we need to. Where's our line? How do we draw the line in the sand so that we're not just blanketing everything with a cost increased, but we can kind of, you know, change exactly and pinpoint the repair for each vehicle accordingly.
Yeah, usually we'll go over like if it needs control arms or whatever. We can look at it. Here's what our labor guide says. Like, yeah, no, and it's rusty. This is rusty. We're gonna have to break that. Yada yada. And we adjust accordingly for usually every vehicle. Like before we do an alignment, it's usually already been had another repair done, so
That
everything will
makes sense too.
usually move fairly freely by then.
Yeah, I gotta wonder how many cars just end up getting scrapped because it's just too much too. And then the clients are like, "I've been driving around for a year like this. What do you mean it's no, it's not safe?" Probably
Uh,
get
I've been
enough
dri-
of that.
I've been driving around. If you drive on the highway at like doing 150K, that's not terribly safe, but you can do that too. But as long as no one notices. But
Yeah,
the same with all the holes in your frame when your control arms falling off and whatnot. Oh, that's what that clunking was.
you probably get a lot of because you probably get a lot of trade-ins. You got to look over too, right, on like inspections.
Yeah, doing get a lot of fair amount of safety inspections, but usual. Sometimes only very rarely we'll put them up and it's like, yeah, this belongs at the auction or
Send
this
it down the
is
road.
this or we don't want our name on this. We don't. This is not a product we want to sell through our dealership that we would be proud to sell.
Does that inspection go before the actual tradesman, or they just take the car in as a trade-in
They
and
take it in as
they
it.
sell the new car, and then whatever happens after that is it's too late.
Yeah, we'll if it's someone trading in that's already serviced with us, they'll usually try and look at the service history and get a ballpark idea of what the condition of the vehicle is, or they'll should know ahead of time. But most of the time, it's traded in. They take off and they're new or new to them car. Then we'll do a safety inspection on the used vehicle. So there's no inspection before uh, sales buys it from the customer or takes it on trade in.
I see.
They're,
So
they're
it's good luck, huh?
it kind of
Probably
is. It
probably should.
probably should be. Might save them quite a bit, but then you also might lose the sale at the other end. So it's kind of a catch twenty two.
Might be a good thing if you lose it though. I mean,
Yeah,
because I always wonder about that too. Guys are always like, I mean, for the most part, I think people are pretty honest. They're like, they get ready to sell a car and they're like, they want to fix everything. I want to make sure like everything's good with this car I'm gonna sell. But if they're gonna trade it in, that's like the famous last words. Just get it good enough so I can get it to the dealership so I can trade it in. And I
yeah,
was wondering on the other side of that is like, oh man, like they should really think about like inspecting these cars before they take it in on a trade in. And then when you're dealing with like with rust and a whole different climate like you just gotta if it needs a whole frame or something radical like that, it's like you would think there'd be like an inspection process to kind of go both ways. Like, hey, we'll give you this much contingent on the fact we're going to do it a quick little inspection and then because when people are buying a car from a private party, that's what they do. Like, hey, can I go take it? Or if you're selling a car, you probably allow them to go take it to an independent repair facility and say, oh yeah, go drive it, take it to a shop, go check it out. Should go
yeah. You
both
would,
ways, you would think.
yeah, you would hope so. You think so, but I'm not at that end of the business, so I don't.
Yeah, on the sales side. I
That's
guess
that's
the
beyond my
manner of
pay grade.
yeah, the manner of averages and odds is like, just take it in. Let's just get these new cars moved because they're only giving you pennies on the dollar anyway when it comes to the trade in, as it is.
Yeah, you'd hope they'd usually account for needing a few $1,000 worth of reconditioning to get it to
Yeah,
a proper sales level, but
that's true. That's true. Yeah, it's just yeah, they're different. A whole different world when you got to deal with cars that are like that, especially when it comes to the cold. What's your weather like up there now?
uh, right now it's not so bad. I think we just got our first snowfall of the season.
Really?
Yes, yeah, yeah, like yesterday.
Wow,
But it's supposed to rain tomorrow.
that's not
So
terrible.
we're fairly temperate. It's getting more and more temperate here as the years go on, and I'm kind of okay with that. The
I
older
could
I
see
get,
that.
the more I don't like the snow as much. But
Well, the dealership's probably set up pretty nice to handle that kind of stuff too, as far as ice and snow and keeping it warm in there for everybody.
oh yeah, that's the part's not that bad.
Yeah.
The occasional slop you get slop down the back of your neck. You're working in the wheel well you're doing brakes, and you get some ice down the back. That's a great feeling. That wakes you up. Ooh.
I just had a vivid feeling of that. Oh my god, that's terrible. I get like the Chinese water torture when it rains here, so like kind of drips, drip, drips, drips. But I could only imagine getting a snow plow down the back. No, thank you.
Yeah.
That might be the end for me. It's like I'm good. I don't want to do this. That's all it took right there. That's it. I'm done.
There you go.
Oh, that's funny. Oh
That's
well, cool,
joyous.
man. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on.
I
This
appreciate
is
having me for listening to me ramble for a while.
what's that?
Let's appreciate you having me and listen to me ramble for a while.
Oh yeah, all the way up from Canada.
It's great up
That's
here. You
probably
should come. Just come in the summer.
it's coming summer. That's when
Go
all the
fishing with
bugs
you.
out. That's when the bugs are all out, I guess.
Oh yeah, you usually got we got snow season and you got bugs. Bug season. That's about it. You got about 3 weeks in the spring, another 3 weeks in the fall where it's fine. Everywhere else you're either carried away with bugs or frozen.
Yeah, I just thought it was like once you get to like the border, of the states, it's just like it's all trees and then Alaska.
Yeah.
I don't know anything. I don't know anything there. It's all gray to me. I don't know.
Trees, a few million lakes in Alaska. Done.
It's like just nothingness, just hills and trees, a couple mounties, and then it's Alaska.
Yeah. I was saying,
It's
how you
all.
doing, eh?
I heard the French fries and gravy is good over there though, so I'll have to check that out one of these years.
That it is. That's also a way of life.
That's all you get to look forward to, huh?
Wings and a poutine. That keeps you warm in the winter.
That's it. Couple ice cold beers and the French fries and gravy and then that's pretty much it. Yep. In your area, when it comes to do you have a lot of independent shops around your area, or is it all like? I mean, how rural are you?
And now our town, the town that I work in, has I want to say like 18, 20,000 people in the town itself. Then in the county and the area that our dealership kind of serves, you probably get about 40 odd thousand people going either direction.
How big?
And
What
I
kind of
think
like radius is that? Like in mileage or I'm sorry, kilometers,
Canadian miles.
Canadian miles. Yeah.
I was trying to think. We probably got a good 40 kilometers each direction. Not south obviously because we're on the lake, but
Hmm. So it's a pretty
um,
decent sized little town
yeah, that's
or
at least
community.
our the community. Yeah, that's our at least our county plus kind of the neighboring counties, townships. The way that all works out. I think in our town itself, we've got our town and the next town over, Port Hope. We have what like something like 9 new car dealerships, plus
Wow.
another probably dozen or more small independent car shops or auto shops. So it's like it's a large concentration for a small area.
That's kind of crazy because I mean that's not much smaller than our county in our area. Um, we're about 35,000 in our city, in our county. Yeah, it's definitely grown a lot bigger than that. But as far as size and everything, it's about the same. But we don't have near that density of repair shops or even dealerships. We got a lot of dealerships down in San Luis, but off the top of my head, I couldn't quote exactly how many that is. But I know they have to have a certain amount of mileage, from like the Dodge, the Chevy, and they have to be spread out a certain distance from each other. Um, but it seems like a pretty good concentration. I mean, compared to like how many people are in your area, like that's when I'm wrapping my head around. It's like doesn't seem like there's that many people to need that high a concentration of auto repair shops. But
Yeah,
I
you would
guess with the tires
with
and everything, I can.
yeah, and with the I guess rural area as well, you're drawing those people in.
Oh, I
But
see.
yeah, but it
Is
is
there
a
like
fairly large concentration. And the more I think of it, it's like it just seems normal to me because it's always been like this. But when you think of it, it's like, man, that is a lot of. flipping car dealers in within
Yeah,
literally within spit distance of each other.
and no one's fighting for work. Everyone's busy.
Yep,
You know, that's
everyone's
interesting.
everyone's
S-
busy enough.
So you probably don't have like on the outliers of the city or the city limits. There's probably not a big township that's closer by.
Not really, because uh, even where I live about 20 minutes just outside of Coburg, in the next small little town or town, and I think there's like four independent car repair places here to a population of a couple thousand.
Wow.
Then there's two auto repair shops in the borough or village in between Coburg and Port and Colburn as well. That's again maybe a couple thousand people in that area, and a car dealership, a used car dealer. Then you get into Coburg where you got our 9 dealerships plus some outlying shops in the area, probably at least a dozen or more independent shops. So everyone seems to be keeping busy.
That's crazy. And you have the regulation to be certified too. So you would think that would pull back on, how many qualified technicians there would be, It's pretty interesting because we have a pretty good population and we have a pretty I think for us is the zoning, because there's not a lot
Oh,
of buildings or like facilities that are zoned by the cities to allow auto repair. So I think that's the big
oh
thing
yeah,
around for us is like if you find a shop or someone that will zone you for auto repair, like you just stay there. Like you're
yeah,
not buying something and you're definitely not building something. And a lot of the commercials being rezoned to get out of the commercial zoning and do retail only. Especially for us, because we're all wine and everyone wants a winery and a freaking brewery and a distillery. Like, I guess around here
yeah,
people can't drink enough.
yeah. Yeah, they don't want oil leaking everywhere or air guns going off. And
Yeah, but I mean, even then, it's like no one uses air guns anymore, and for the most part, it's like the county's up your ass so far about trying to keep it clean. Like you can't really get away with digging a pit out back anymore either. So
yeah,
I just think there's more going on politically as far as wanting the liquor licenses and wanting people to come
yeah,
in and get a DUI and that's great revenue for the city. Like
yeah.
it's like
Way more kickbacks for that.
yeah, like what if you don't think so, then why are you having 15 different wineries one after another? Like what do you think people do? Like they're drinking at all these places and then they're driving home. Like come
Yeah,
on, put two and two together. It doesn't make any damn sense to me, but that's just like a whole political thing that it's like I don't get that at all,
yeah,
and to have that concentration of auto repair shops you're talking about in your area and the lack of it here, it just kind of like more proves in my own mind of like, yeah, there's definitely something going on as far as the city wanting to push all the auto repair shops to the very edge of town and like, it just don't make any damn sense. Everyone's going to drive electric cars. No, I don't think so. That's not going to
no.
happen. These gasoline cars are going to be on the road for a very long time and someone needs to be there to fix them. So, yeah, it don't make any sense. Getting to the government stuff, we talk about this for hours.
Yeah,
Uh, well, cool, man. This has been fun.
no, it has been.
Yeah, some good information. Appreciate you coming on.
I
And for
appreciate you
the
having me on.